Absolutely, Gavin. I have not seen this. I know we got this as a tip from a Vanguard listener. Shout out to you, bro, sending this our way. We would not have had this clip to react to if it wasn't for that comrade, that soldier, that brother of ours. So yeah, Gavin, do you want to intro this? Ana Kasparian calling out Emma Vigeland for being too woke. I would wager. I haven't seen the clip.
Pretty much, yeah. So I have a couple theories as to why Anna decided to, randomly play a Majority Report clip in order to make her point in yet another Copaganda segment on the Young Turks. As you said, Zach, shout out to our viewer Simon for sending this our way. I probably would not have seen this as it's buried pretty deep within a TYT live stream. But let's take a look here. I thought this was definitely interesting on Anna's part, again, to select a Majority Report clip in order to make her point. I'm interested in your perspective, Zach, on the actual substance of this. Anna's basically trying to make the point that despite the statistics, crime is actually not going down, at least not in her beloved neighborhood, right? Ignore the statistics, ignore the data, trust Ana Kasparian. Like I said, I have some theories as to why Anna went after Sam and Emma that we'll get into in a second, as well as the response actually from Emma Vigeland and some of the other folks over on the Majority Report when they caught wind of this. Like I said, this is buried pretty deep in a segment that we're not going to watch the entirety of, but I think you guys are going to get the point.
This means a quarter of the US population was not represented in the federal crime data. Reporting actually did improve a little bit the following year with an additional 2,000 agencies submitting their crime reports. That's a good thing. But that means that 4,000 of them still had not, meaning the FBI's data was still incomplete. The two largest police agencies in the US, the New York Police Department and the Los Angeles Police Department, are still missing in the federal data. Politicians like Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
How are we going to scare people about crime, Gavin?
To declare
oh my God! Holy shit, bro! Oh my God! I can't believe it. When we look at crime and they say it's going down, they didn't even add New York and LA, two famously safe cities. New York City is safe as. Bro, you got that place crawling with more pigs than the local petting zoo. To tell you, I mean, you throw a rock, you hit a donut shop, and 5 police officers. It's absolutely ridiculous in that town. I swear to God. And I was just in Los Angeles. I crawled about every inch of that son of a bitch, right? My girl's family lives in the valley over there, right? And you went to the valley? No, I went downtown because I hate the valley, right? And I was in downtown Los Angeles, and I hung out in WeHo. And I went to Venice, and I went all over that motherfucker. And did I see some poor people? Did I see some people that were eating out of trash cans? Yeah, and that broke my heart, but it didn't make me want to throw them in jail. And okay, and people will be like, "You only went to the rich parts of Los Angeles." I don't know if you guys know this, but all of Los Angeles is the rich part of Los Angeles. It's expensive as to live anywhere. Okay, you got to be like, you didn't go down to South Compton where there was public housing and obviously not. I could see that shit in my own neighborhood. Okay, but fear mongering about this as it's not. Like a United States national issue. They try and act like LA and New York are like these scary ass places where they're so dangerous and they need a fearmonger. This lady walks from a air conditioned studio to her Jaguar and gets on the Ronald Reagan Express, and she's just pieces goodbye and goes to her gated community. Okay, she doesn't actually experience any of the shit. What she wants to do is scare the old people, the 45 plus demographic. That's no, my God, I like poor people as long as they're over there. I like black people as long as they're over there. No, you know what I mean? I don't know. I just don't know what to say around people like that. I just don't know how to act around people like that. I just don't know. It just makes me uncomfortable. That's her demo right now. That's her chief demo, okay? Not people like us, not normal people who own property, and who think that they're liberal and they buy like, $450 bottles of Evian, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, dude. Plus, LA is already in the process of trying to expand their police force. Karen Bass, who luckily beat Rick Caruso, but is still pretty bad herself on the issue.
Help from TYT, by the way. They've flag-waving champions of Rick Caruso, real estate developer, billionaire mogul. TYT abandoning all their principles about getting billionaires out of politics with that election as soon as it was convenient. They're the textbook definition of NIMBY liberals. They are not progressives. They are faux-gressives.
Totally. But either way, my point is just that Karen Bass is desperately trying to expand the police force in LA anyway. She's desperately trying to recruit and even offering a raise to incentivize recruitment, like I said. So I don't even really know what the point of this Copaganda segment is, other than just to pettily prove Emma Vigeland wrong or something. But you got what you wanted, Anna. There's going to be even more cops on the streets of LA soon to keep you safe.
Look at what I did. Crime rates are down in my state. I'm such a winner. I'm such a great leader. But less than 10% of agencies were included in their 2022 FBI crime report. Of course, the left also relies heavily on this inaccurate data for its own purposes.
Yeah, the other thing I was going to add is that Anna actually wants us to believe that the cops are going to do their job and give us that accurate data in spite of all of the overwhelming decades and decades and decades of reporting that cops lie. Cops don't do their jobs. Cops forge paperwork. Cops throw away paperwork. They don't fill it out in the first place. They cover their tracks later. But she's expecting once we get the data. Yeah, the cops are going to give you whatever the fucking data will get them more money. Whatever the union can use as leverage, that's what they're going to give you. That's the data you're going to get for the police. And if you weren't dumber than fucking rocks or a liar, you would have figured that out by now.
Yep. Either way, here's the part where she's about to play this quick majority report clip to make her point about what a bunch of gaslighters we are over on the left. Let's take a look here.
Left also relies heavily on this inaccurate data for its own purposes.
Crime may be up in your neighborhood, but that's not what's happening nationally.
It's kind of the equivalent to, remember when Senator Inhofe brought the snowball onto the Senate floor to say, hey, climate change isn't happening. Look at this snowball.
Right. I can look out my window and see that it's cold, and now I know climate change is not happening.
So if you can conceptualize of trends statistical trends as it relates to climate change, you can conceptualize of trends as it relates to crime, and maybe just try to get over some of your preconceived notions about certain kinds of people in order to get there and put that in the recycling bin.
All right, look, I don't know if climate change is a great analogy here, because unlike our rapidly warming planet, which leads to extreme weather events and of course rising sea levels that impact everyone living on said planet, crime spikes in cities impact those living in the cities. Honestly, who cares about the national data, especially if—
It's funny too, because for one, the people of the majority report all live in the city. It's not like they're out in the rural ass sticks or some shit. And second of all, she's like, she literally does what Sam said not to do at the beginning of the clip that she selected to play immediately. He's like, don't just focus on your neighborhood. You have to look at the national statistics. You can't just give anecdotes about the homeless man, outside your local YMCA or whatever that you bumped into. Like, that's not going to cut it. We're actually trying to analyze the data here. She immediately goes right back to, well, in my neighborhood.
Which is crazy because it's not even her neighborhood, bro. She's gonna act like— what do you think, that Anna's some like broke lady that lives in Los Angeles somewhere like shitty? What do you think this is? Like, this lady definitely lives in a gated community. I bet she lives near Cenk. I bet she lives somewhere around Beverly Hills, somewhere like Orange County. This lady's not like slumming it, dude. There's no way. There's no way. So she wants to act hard out here. She wants to act like, oh my God, it's fucking sus out here. Let me tell you what, Gavin and I have lived in, like, between the two of us, the West Bottoms, it's getting rehabilitated. Gavin's about to live in Yuppieville. But for a while, it was the Wild West, okay? I've lived in places where it was like not fucking like idyllic to like, be walking around with a toddler or something, right? Okay? But that's not downtown Los Angeles. That's sure shit not Manhattan, bro. You can't go anywhere in Manhattan and pay less than like $45 for dinner. What the fuck do you mean that there's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what? There's cops everywhere. It's like, these people don't know what it's like to go into a real poor ass, like fucking dangerous neighborhood. They do not know what it's like to go into a dangerous ass neighborhood at all. So they project all their fantasies onto a place like, oh, well, I went to the fucking, like, what's that, like, Grand Central Market in fucking downtown Los Angeles, and I saw a homeless black guy, and he had a do-rag on, and I felt threatened because, I don't know, he was getting the cheeseburger, I wasn't getting cheeseburger, Anyway, that's the meltdown that she has whenever she sees somebody that doesn't look like her, that doesn't have the money that she has, that doesn't have the lifestyle that she has. She panics, she freaks out, she assumes they're a fucking criminal, and then she has to go and make her so that she still feels like a good person. She gets up on her stool at the progressive network, and then goes and vilifies and creates hysteria that will ultimately just harm and further oppress minorities and poor people across this country in the urban pockets that she's claiming she wants to uplift. It's deranged.
Yep. And we're not going to watch this whole segment. I think you guys get the point. You've seen probably many segments of Ana Kasparian doing this shtick over and over again. But she basically goes on to try to manufacture consent for more police money, more police in general. She points to Detroit, I think, which in her analysis, the crime has gone down in Detroit because of the fact that they hired a shit ton more cops. And, that's what they need to do in LA, which is already happening. Like I said, they already are hiring more cops, and they're raising their wages and trying to hire
like a motherfucker, dude. They get paid like $180,000 a year to be cops. Can you imagine that? That's a lot of fucking money, guys. Even in California with their like insane tax structure for working class people, you're still taking home like 8 racks every month to be a fucking pig on the street, to be a domestic terrorist in public.
Yeah.
Like, no money in the world's worth it, but to these scumbags it is.
Yeah. And it's crazy. Like, it's funny because people like Ana Kasparian are so convinced that us on the left, we're in denial about crime. Like, I'm not in denial about the fact that crime exists. No one on the left is just like, crime is not a thing, and if it does happen, who cares? Like, that's no one's response. The thing is that on the left, we don't use crime, we don't use anecdotes to try to manufacture consent for more police money, more, of the city budget going towards the police department, which is basically proven in almost every instance to not actually help with crime. The point that people on the left are making is that if you're going to do a video like this where you scaremonger about crime, it should be to address the sort of societal failings that result in this level of desperation and crime in the first place. That's why so many people have pointed out that the infamous spike in crime that happened around the George Floyd protest was not actually a result of the George Floyd protest, as some people like Actual Justice Warrior will have you believe, Anna's biggest fan. No, it was actually a result of the desperation that people were experiencing. Obviously, that's what leads to crime, 9 times out of 10. I don't know. Most people don't just wake up in the morning and decide to go do bad things and commit crimes that could, end up with them in jail or their freedoms permanently removed. No one thinks that. No one wants to do that unless you're literally just a mentally insane person or something, which is also probably a result of intense desperation and societal neglect. So that's the point you should be making, right? And when lefties do talk about crime, when progressives do talk about crime, that's the framework they usually talk about it. Underline, not that this is why we need more cops and this is why we need to give more of your taxpayer money to the cops. No, that's not the answer. And the communities that are most negatively affected by the police will tell you that.
Reach on me. Love that shit.
I also did want to play a quick video from the Majority Report from the other day where they we're kind of going after this Actual Justice Warrior guy who's like best friends with Anna. So I want to take just a few seconds of this in and then also watch their response when a viewer actually brought up the Ana Kasparian segment recently. These aren't very long, but let's take a quick look.
With using the FBI data as the source for national crime rates. Let's scroll down. New FBI data confirms previous indications that crime in the U.S. declined significantly in 2023, continuing a post-pandemic trend.
And just to reference, sorry to cut you off, but just to reference our buddy, the Actual Justice Warrior, it doesn't say the post-George Floyd effect trend. It says the post-pandemic trend.
Right.
So like it's fucking embarrassing, frankly. And I'll just say it, Anna retweets that guy. It's fucking embarrassing.
Anna retweets that guy. Matt, just like us, for real.
Yep. And that was from 9 days ago. And let's take a look at from, I think, yesterday or the day before yesterday, someone actually called in to ask about Anna playing the Majority Report clip and kind of coming after them. I thought this was pretty amusing as well.
Wait, I already read that. Hopeful one, why is Anna going after you? And Sam, she's implying you don't do research. I know I come here a lot and mention them, but I can't believe I have no idea what she said, but I know I do my research and it's okay. Like, I think I'm not sad about anybody criticizing me. That's
no
fair.
light without heat.
I know that I do my research and I know that, our coverage on whatever.
But we haven't seen it. So yeah, give us details because
what's the topic that we don't do our research on?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure, but
the reference?
I feel pretty confident.
I imagine it's about cops.
I feel pretty confident in my ability to research and our
She's got rigged data.
She's
She got rigged data.
Yeah, so let's
The
get it.
data's rigged. It ain't, the coppers told me so. They told me. Rigged data.
Maybe it was
that
about
kind of
crime.
bias, though, actually.
Maybe it was about crime in New York City, something that myself and Emma and Matt probably know nothing about.
Yeah, no,
Certainly not as much as someone doing the research over in California.
with
I'm going to say I will admit anti-cop bias when they come on the news and say that they looked at some fentanyl and then their face started melting like in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. I just assume that they're not telling the truth, but that's just me.
That's
So,
same, dude. Same, Brandon. I also have an anti-cop bias.
That's how they lie, bro. You can't trust them.
I felt reinvigorated yesterday when I saw the cops lying in a way that really excited me. Like it was
Yeah.
exciting to see them do
Can I
this.
just before we get to the thing?
I don't know what it's about, so I don't want to
I
get
know,
into
but
it.
I just want to say it must be really frustrating for an issue like Gaza to get in the way of wanting to rehabilitate cops.
That's true. That's true. So let's speaking of
Pretty funny stuff. Emma's clearly eager to move on. I don't think she wants to get in the muck with Anna for understandable reasons, but I do think it's pretty funny how messy Matt was being there, just trying to bring on the beef.
Yeah, dude. I love Matt. Matt doesn't give a shit anymore. That dude's Twitter's wild too.